Hello and welcome. This is a demonstration role play of the Manny and Tibby scenario. I have done a review and it's probably borderline past assessment, but there are some issues. So I just wanted to point those out so you can be aware of them as you're observing. There were a few things there that I wouldn't encourage you to emulate, but there were some things I did well. I have reflected through. So I think my approach in terms of empathy, maintaining calm and an encouraging tone, rapport building and emotional containment was okay. There was a clear structure of the stages, although I could have tightened up some of my transitions. There was a respect for party ownership in the decisions and handling the apology, stopping and coming back to that so it wasn't lost is something to have a look at. But there were some challenges. The explorations phase was a bit too brief and not structured as well as I could have. I should have really kept going with that. I really explored the issue with the rubbish and so on. So that ended up being an exploration in the negotiation phase, which was not ideal. And I also, when I look back, I had too many personal reactions or self referral type comments. I should have been much better at not doing that. So look out for that and don't do it. And I also had a few too many evaluative style responses. So I said excellent there a few times as if I was evaluating what they were saying. I should have reflected back with, would that work for you? Or just a non-committal kind of sound. So few things that I reflect on and need to improve in my own mediation styles. And that is one of the things that we need to do as practitioners, continue to reflect and make sure that we don't drift in our approach. Now, I have edited out a few of our ums and ahs in this, which has shortened it down. It was actually pretty much spot on 90 minutes. But yeah, I definitely could have spent more time in the exploration phase. Hello, welcome, Manny and Tibby. How are you today? Okay.
Yeah, good.
Yep, excellent. Are you comfortable with me calling you by your first names and for us all to use first names as we talk to each other? Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you. I'm going to be your mediator today. You seem like you can hear and see me. We've got about 90 minutes today for the mediation. So are you both okay for that amount of time?
Yep.
Okay. I'll just share a bit of an overview of what we're doing today. My role as the mediator is to help you have a conversation about the issues that have been upsetting you and help you consider options and hopefully make some decisions. But your role is to make the final choices. This is a voluntary process and it's up to you what you do or don't agree on. Does that make sense? Yeah. And are you both here of your own free will?
Yep.
Yeah. And with the intention to try and resolve these issues? Yes?
Yep.
Excellent. Okay, so mediation is a confidential process. That means that it is private, and part of my job is to make sure that it is a safe and respectful process. I won't speak to anyone else about the mediation other than if I'm required to by law or in my duty of care to protect someone. In your situation, the body corporate has organised and paid for this mediation, and they have asked me to let them know if you've attended, which you have, and also whether you reach an agreement and if there's anything written in agreement that's appropriate for them to have shared with them. So are you comfortable with that?
Yep.
Yeah. And if you do get to the point of wanting to document an agreement, I will remind you so that you can think about what it is you do want written down. Okay, so As I said, I need to let them know you're here, but you are in control. You can leave at any time if you felt the need. Hopefully you won't. The other part of my role is I won't take sides. I am here really just to facilitate the process. One of the things that's really important is that it is a safe and respectful process. So can I ask you that you listen to each other carefully when you're having a chance to speak, and also don't interrupt each other? Do you agree to do that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you. Now, I want to quickly go through the mediation process just to remind you of what we're going to be doing today. So these are my opening statements. We're almost finished there. In a moment, I'll ask each of you to do an opening statement where you'll be able to explain what the issues are from your point of view and what you'd like to resolve today. From that, I'll create an agenda, which I'll ask you to confirm that it does cover everything that you wanted to discuss, and work out which order you'd like to talk about the things in. From there, we go into what's called exploration, where you'll be able to speak directly with each other and explore the issues and hopefully start coming up with some possible solutions to things. At some point, there will be a private session where I'll speak confidentially with each of you. And after that, if you do have some ideas about how things can improve, then there'll be a stage where you can negotiate and refine those proposals. And then again, if you do want an agreement written down to remind yourselves of what you've agreed to, then I'll help you with that as well, and then send that off to you. And then we'll close the mediation. As I said, we've got about 90 minutes for today, so it'll be about that amount of time. Do either of you have any questions about the mediation process that we're going to do today?
No.
No? All makes sense?
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay. That's my formal part of the process. Now, who would like to go first with your opening statement? So what I'd like to find out is what the issues are from your point of view that you'd like to resolve today. And you both will get a chance, so it doesn't matter who goes first.
I'm happy to go first.
Manny, so are you comfortable with that, Tibby?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, all right, thank you. So Manny, if you would just explain to me what it is that you'd like to try and resolve today. Tibby, if anything sort of comes up for you while Manny's talking, if you just make a note, and you'll be able to have a chance to go into that further later. Is that okay?
Yep.
Excellent. So Manny, what?
So I moved into the townhouse next door to Tibby and her family a couple of years ago. I got married and we bought the property and moved in next door.
I'm having a little bit of difficulty hearing you, Manny. I'm not sure if you maybe could sit a little bit closer to your microphone.
How's that? Is that better?
Yeah, that's a lot better.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. So I moved in next door to Tibby and her family 2 years ago after getting married. We bought the townhouse next door. And since we've moved in, we've had a number of issues, but we just keep getting repeated issues with Tibby and her family and their household, and I feel it's now starting to intrude on the enjoyment of the home that we bought. I hope to get out of this into this mediation. I want to feel there's been a number of incidents that have happened that have caused angst between us. It's actually got to a point now that it's got quite hostile, and the last time I reported an incident to the police. And what I want to get out of this is to actually feel safe in my own home without fear of being verbally abused by someone or a situation escalating more into maybe a physical situation. We've had problems with the shared fencing on the property, and I want that shared fence to be respected and that we maintain it in a manner that actually works for both of us. And I want some boundaries around rubbish disposal, property maintenance, and how we actually behave with each other. It's what I'm wanting to get out of that.
Okay. Excellent. Thank you for that. So you've talked about quite a number of things. So one of them, you said that the relationships become quite hostile and that you called the police. Could you tell me a little bit more about that?
Well, it was to do with there were some items placed against the fence that caused it to collapse further. It was mattresses and things put up against the fence. And when I confronted Tibby about it, her and her family became verbally abusive to me. And they yelled and told me to go back to Malaysia. And then they told me to go and call the police. So I did, because I felt threatened. And that led to the police turning up. Yeah.
Okay. And did anything further happen when the police came?
Well, they spoke to both of us and gave us information about, what we could do going forward, and that could include an intervention order if either of us wanted to apply for one. I haven't done that at this point, but I'm open to it if I can't find resolution this way.
Okay, so it sounds like things have become quite difficult in your interpersonal relationships, and things said that were distressing for you.
Yeah.
And so is part of what you'd like to achieve to improve that relationship, or have some understanding about what is and isn't acceptable?
I just want to have peace and be able to live in my own home with respect.
Okay. Thank you. The other thing you mentioned was a shed fence and some issues related to items leaned against the fence. Yeah. So how was that an issue for you?
Well, the fence was already weak. There were problems with the fence, and it's a joint fence line, shared line. So I don't know, for whatever reason, there was an old mattress on Tibby's side and some junk that was laid against the shed fence. And it's just caused further weakening of that fence. And it's now, I'm propping it up on my side so it doesn't fall over. I can't keep having things put up against it when it's not structurally sound. And I've asked nicely, but it doesn't seem to, make a difference. Look, we've also had rubbish end up in our front yard on multiple occasions from their property. The kids play unsupervised near the townhouse. They've damaged plants on my property. I just want them to contain themselves on their side of the fence and leave us alone.
Okay, so when you say rubbish and the children playing, is that in your area or in the common area? I'm just trying to get a picture.
Well, they're out playing outside, but they're kicking stuff and it's coming into my yard. I don't know how the rubbish has landed in my yard. It's not my rubbish. It's definitely coming from their place.
Okay.
But yeah, the kids, play outside and they, kick things and it hits my plants and it knocks them over and it damages them.
Okay. Thank you. I think that gives me a bit more of an understanding. So it sounds like the relationship and wanting to have a peaceful environment that you're living in is one of the concerns. You talked about the fence and that it's been weakened and you're wanting to, is it talk about repairs to the fence or just to be clear, what is?
I suppose so. I don't know if they own their property or not. It's not my business. So, I don't know.
Okay. Yeah. So
to repair the fence or I need to repair it with someone else. When I've spoken, they haven't told me. So.
Right. And you mentioned the children playing in the front, some damage to plants and some rubbish impacting on your property. Any other concerns that you've got that you wanted to raise at this stage?
No, I just want to make sure that me and my family, our safety is paramount to us. No one wants to have problems with neighbours. You know, I don't any more than, you know, probably Tibby does, but this is where we're at, and I just want it resolved.
Okay, excellent. Well, thank you very much for that. And thank you, Tibby, for patiently waiting for your chance to speak. And I should have mentioned I am taking some notes just to help me follow what you're sharing with me. So, Tibby, if you could now share with me what it is that you'd like to try and resolve today in the mediation. You don't need to worry about responding to what Manny said because you will have a chance to speak directly soon.
Yeah, sure. So I've lived in my home for years, long before many even moved in. Since their arrival, I just feel as though they've been overly aggressive. It seems to be, doesn't matter what me or the kids do, there seems to be an issue. I understand there was, so I stored my mattress up against a fence just so the kids could still have plenty of room to play in the front yard and in the common area. That was just while I had organised a council pickup. Many come out, started yelling at me, making a big issue out of nothing. I feel, and ended up leading to them calling the police. And then that resulted in me also feeling like I needed to seek legal protection. Yes, I said I shouldn't have told Manny to go back to Malaysia, but I also think it wasn't okay that he was verbally harassing me in front of my own children. You know, that's not okay either. So yeah, basically since he's moved in, this is when all the issues has all happened.
And I didn't bring the kids outside when we were talking.
Manny, if you wouldn't mind, you'll have a chance to speak directly soon. Thank you. So Tibby, thank you for sharing that. So you mentioned that from your point of view, the relationship has been a little bit tense since Manny moved in.
Yeah, it just seems to be over the most silly minor issues. Like we live in a townhouse. I have young children, so they play in the common area. We'll play handball, and you know they'll ride their bikes and stuff like that. There has been times where the ball has gone over to Manny's fence, but I'm there watching the kids, and we just go and grab the ball.
Okay.
You know, as simple as that. But yeah.
Yeah. So from your point of view, you're saying that you think some of the things that have led to words are not very important, or?
As I said, they're over the most minor issues. You know, Tibby will come out yelling that because me and the kids have gone into his yard when I'm literally just getting a ball that's gone into the yard from the kids, and I'll just go and collect it so it's not on his property. You know, sometimes the kids will eat, like just have their school snacks out the front in the common area as well. Similar thing, on a windy day, they've gone into Manny's yard, and me and the kids usually try and do our best to go and collect it and put it in the bin. As I said, it just feels like very minor issues, and it doesn't matter what me and the kids do. Manny seems to have an issue with it.
Right, thank you. And sorry, go on.
No, you go.
You mentioned about making inquiries about legal protections. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah, I just felt really unsafe being confronted like that, just on my own with the kids. It was quite intimidating. The kids also were quite frightened by Manny's explosive behaviour.
Okay.
I just feel like calling the police was a big overreaction, and then which then led to, because he's called the police, then I've also felt like I needed to seek legal protection for myself. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And so it sounds like you're hoping today, is it for things to change? And what are you hoping for today?
Yeah, well, at the end of the day, you know, I don't want to I don't want to feel tense like every single time I step outside of my own house with my children, that I'm worried about them, being too loud and playing. And, I'm just trying to do the best I can as a parent. And, sometimes they do play and they be loud. They're kids at the end of the day, but I do my best to try and manage that. So yeah, pretty much what led to the big argument was around the council pickup and the damage caused to the fence. I put the fence up against put the mattress up against the fence, and which caused damage to it. I didn't mean it. The fence was already wonky as it was. And that led to the big argument.
Okay. Oh, all right. Thank you very much. So you've talked about the neighbour relationship and the argument and wanting to try and improve the situation there. You've also talked about the children often playing out the front in the common areas, having their snacks and after school, and sometimes wrappers and other things might fly over and needing to retrieve balls and things like that.
Yeah.
And the other thing was the shared boundary fence and the mattress and resulting incident from that. Is there anything else that you think needs to be raised today?
I think that's everything.
Okay, excellent. Well, thank you, and thank you both. So, look, we'll move on now to forming an agenda for your mediation. So what I've heard is that there's three really major things that it sounds like we need to discuss. One is your neighbourly relationship and how you communicate and, I suppose, live together. You've both talked about wanting a more peaceful environment without some of the issues you've been experiencing. The other thing you talked about was probably, I suppose, coming to an understanding about the shared and private spaces and how they can be managed without these issues arising. And the other was that shared boundary fence, and it sounds like there might be some discussion needed around what to do about the fence if it has been weakened. How does that sound from your point of view as a general?
I don't want my plants damaged anymore, Joanne.
Yeah. So
I don't know if we've covered that, but my plants are getting damaged.
yeah, so I was talking about the common, and I'll just increase the size of this a little bit. I think it's called the common area, is it, in your units? So,
yeah.
Sorry, I forgot you. Yeah, so your plants are in your private space, are they, Manny? Is that?
Yeah. They're out the front of my private space.
Yeah. So I've just put neighbour relationship and I guess how it is that you want your relationship to be, because it sounds like neither of you are, and just the shared boundary fence of what needs to happen there. Does that cover the things? Understanding that with the relationship, the incident and how you want to each to treat each other might be in there, and your plants and the rubbish might go in that first item. I can kind of put dot points if you think you'll forget about them, but how does that sound? I'll bring you over here so I can see you. Is that okay? Is there anything missing?
Neighbour relationship, as long as I feel safe and my family feels safe. So yeah. I want that covered in there.
Yeah. So are you okay there, Tibby, to have safety as a factor on that? Because that, that's definitely so that you are feeling safe and hopefully don't feel like you need to bring the police into things in the future. So where would you like to start? What would you like to speak about first? And we should have enough time to speak about all of the...
Manny, what do you think? You seem to have all the issues with the neighbouring with me.
See, this is what I mean, Joanne. It's always my fault.
Yeah, so today's all about improving that. So where would you like to start?
People not being rude, feeling safe in my...
So the neighbour relationship, does that make sense for you as well, Tibby?
Yep.
Okay. So, and what would you like to talk about next after that?
I think the way you have it laid out at the moment is fine.
And then the about common and private spaces and how to reach an agreement about that, and then the boundary fence. Manny, does that work for you?
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah. So I'll just, so what I'm going to do is, didn't mean to do that. What I'm going to do is I'll pop that into the chat of the meeting for you so that you're able to refer to that if needed. And I'll stop the share so that we can see each other a little bit more clearly. So so thank you for that. That was a little bit hard, even reaching that agreement. So you've done it. So look, I'd like to ask you, Manny, and now if you could, please speak directly to each other. And remember our ground rules around safety and being respectful in the way you speak to each other. Manny, can you explain a little bit more to Tibby why, I suppose, a little bit of the history, why you're finding it difficult and needing to come and raise these issues with Tibby?
Well, I feel any time I try and come and raise them with Tibby, she gets aggressive. Now, maybe I'm coming angry or upset already. I'll own that because I'm sick of having the same problems.
Sorry, I'm sorry to interrupt there, Manny. Can you speak directly to Tibby, please?
Yeah, Tibby, you might feel like I'm being rude all the time, but I'm getting sick of just not having things addressed when I ask nicely, and maybe I'm coming frustrated, but the police don't get called just because I'm the one who's getting angry. You yelled at me and told me to go back to Malaysia. That's not being just calm on one side. I can't yell at myself. So, I think we've both got to own that. And I don't like it. I don't like that the police, we called the police, and that had to happen. And that, now we've got this thing where either I go and put an intervention order in. Well, that's not going to work. Like, that'll just make living next to each other impossible. I would just want to be able to address issues in a way that we actually work together to resolve them.
Okay, so Tibby, hearing that, and Manny shared a little bit about the impact of what he said you said to him. What would you like to respond, please?
Yeah, sure. Look, Manny, I totally agree. I shouldn't have told you to go back to Malaysia. That's not okay. And I genuinely apologise for that. But I will admit it got very heated very quickly. As soon as I'd been sweating my bum off all day, cleaning the house, trying to get everything clean while while also managing the kids, all I did was put the mattress up against the fence, and you come straight out yelling at me, which automatically put me on like the back end saying like going, what the heck is going on? Yes, you've said that you've tried to talk to me, but I'm also just, as I said before, trying to do the best I can in watching my children. And sometimes when you're trying to speak to me, I'm also trying to hold their hand so they're not, running out and going into your yard, or, if they've got a ball, I don't want them to go and scratch anyone's cars or anything like that. So I am genuinely just trying to be the best mum I can be in managing my kids and working full time and everything else. And, I don't want to feel awkward and uncomfortable in my own home either. Yeah, and I'm sorry, I made a racist remark against you. That's not okay. But, I also reacted because you come straight out. As soon as I put the mattress on the fence, you come out yelling at me.
Okay, so look, Manny, sorry, Tibby, it's probably good to let Manny respond to you. So, Manny, Tibby's apologised for what she said.
I appreciate that, because that was one of the things that really upset me.
So, are you able to accept that apology and move on from there?
Yeah. Thank you for that, Tibby, because, feeling like someone tells you you're not allowed in your own country is pretty upsetting. So I appreciate you saying that. Yeah. And maybe I have come out angry more because I just feel like I'm not being heard. And I'm not wanting to make you feel like I'm judging you as a mother or anything, because it's not about that. It's about I've come to this country and I've worked hard to get what I've got, and it hasn't been easy for me to do that, and I feel really proud of the fact that I own a place now and that I'm providing for my wife and my future family, and I feel that needs to be a place of peace, and that's I don't hate you or I hate your kids. I just don't want people coming in and out of my place or knocking things over, or come and knock on the door if they need to retrieve a ball, or that's just the way I was brought up. You don't just walk into people's places. You just go and ask first, I suppose. So that's what I get angry about.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so Tibby, did you know that Manny feels it's like an intrusion when you come into the yard and get the ball?
No, I thought I was doing the right thing by just getting the stuff out of his property as quick as possible.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I didn't even think of it in that way. I just thought I was doing the right thing by getting, balls and rubbish or whatever out of the yard, because I don't want him to come and yell at me that I've left stuff in, and I don't want, I suppose I do feel I've been judged as a parent when you've made comments when I'm doing my best. So.
Okay.
Yeah, I just thought it was as simply as getting a ball and rubbish out of the yard.
Okay, and Manny, hearing that from Tibby, that that she did feel judged by you, or felt that it was parenting.
So what comments have I made that made you feel like that?
Pardon?
What comments have I made that made you feel like that?
Just the constant complaining around, as I said, I didn't even think of it being as intrusion, around getting a ball or getting rubbish out of your yard. I thought it's more annoying for me to go and knock on your door every single time something happens. Like, we live next door to each other. I just assumed I would be able to,
Yeah. Okay. So look, I can definitely see that there's some misunderstandings about what. So perhaps just quickly, if you could share with each other, what would help you to feel safe living next door to each other, and how you'd like your relationship to be moving forward if you were able to turn a new page. And I don't know, whoever would like to go first.
Manny, I'm more than comfortable to come and knock on your door if that would make you feel more comfortable. As I said, I didn't realise it was being intrusion. I thought it would be more annoying me coming to knock on your door every single time I need it. But if that's how you feel, then I'm happy to respect that for you if that's going to make you feel more comfortable.
Tibby, you also mentioned sometimes timing is a problem for you, where when Manny comes to, but you're kind of at your last.
Yeah, you know, like I'm carrying my my bag in. I've got the kids in their school bags. I'm unbuckling them out of their car seats. So, you know, just timing wise, when I'm just trying to get them into the door, is not great.
So there might be something to brainstorm later about. About that. And Manny, you mentioned that you're feeling like sometimes you're not heard when you're trying to raise things. What would you need to feel safer and better?
It's just respect for my place and my things. As I said, I've worked hard to do those, and I've not ever owned my own house, and I'm really proud that I own my own house and I look after it. And so when things happen that, you know, I know it's only a fence, but, you know, that's making my place look like it's not looked after. And I'm really proud of my place. So for me, you know, I want the rubbish managed properly.
So Manny, is what you're saying, making sure the rubbish doesn't go there and protecting your plants, that is for you respect?
Really, yeah.
Okay. Okay, and is there anything else that you feel needs to be talked about in terms of safety?
I just want to stop yelling at each other, you know.
That's probably a good thing for you both to feel safer.
Great idea. Yeah.
Yeah, so I will make a note. So, look, there's a few things there, but we keep blowing across onto the other agenda items. I have made a note of some of those things that you can perhaps explore a little bit more, but an understanding around the common areas and the private spaces. So that did lead into the rubbish. So, Tibby, you talked a little bit about the children playing outside after school. Can you explain to Manny why it is that they play out there in the common area?
Yeah, sure. So we don't have very big backyards, being a townhouse. So when the kids get home from school, we'll go and play handball and stuff like that. I'm always out the front supervising them, so just to be mindful of everyone else's area.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Oh, I can see the atmosphere's lightening already. It might be a good time to actually have a private session. So that's an opportunity for you to check in with me confidentially, and also to have a quick break. So it doesn't matter who goes first. Would either of you prefer?
I'm okay either way. It doesn't worry me.
Yeah.
I can go first if you like, Manny.
Okay. All right. So, Manny, what I'll do is I'll pop you out in the waiting room for about 10 minutes, and then I'll bring you back in. So just be back soon. Thanks, Tibby. So as I said, this is a confidential opportunity. I'm just making note of the time to have a chat, see how things are going. So how is it going for you?
Better than I expected. We haven't been able to communicate properly before now, so any communication is really an improvement. But yeah, I genuinely didn't realise me going over to his yard was such an intrusion. I just assumed, like, I was doing the right thing by trying to keep everything as contained as possible.
Yeah. Okay, well, that's a good realisation. So hopefully you'll be able to manage those issues in a way that's not going to cause as much angst. So the other things that you both talked about was sometimes the communication, the timing, and that sort of thing is a problem. Do you have any ideas on how things that need to be discussed can be done in the best way for the two of you?
Yeah, sure. I'm happy to exchange phone numbers or anything like that if that makes it easier. It's just one of those things of when Manny's coming up and trying to speak to me while got two kids on my hip. It's just not the right time. And it's not that I'm ignoring him whatsoever. It's just that trying to do everything I have to do for the afternoon. But yeah, if that helps, exchange phone numbers, or I'm happy to have a conversation with the kids, maybe myself and Manny, just because they are a little bit scared of him about the incident. So I'm not sure if Manny would be comfortable with us. I don't know. I think maybe by us speaking, respectfully towards each other in front of the kids is a good way to start.
Okay. Oh, that's excellent. So, as I said, this is confidential, so I won't be bringing anything back. So you might want to maybe note those down so that you, remember if you think they might be helpful. Is there anything else that you're thinking? You mentioned also with the fence, it sounds like it's something that you'll be able to get body corporate, and you both seem pretty in agreement to approach them directly. What's going to happen, I guess, if body corporate doesn't agree, or they blame you for the fence? Or
I would like to think that we could go 50-50 because as I said, it was worst case scenario, body the fence was already wonky already, the fence was already wonky to begin with. It's something that body corporate needed to address anyways. And I suppose by the incident of the mattress has just kind of highlighted the importance of that.
Okay, so it sounds like you're fairly optimistic it'll be sorted in a way. And
as I said, alternatively, I'm happy to speak to Manny around us going 50-50 or something for the fence.
Okay. So it sounds like the other, the other main thing and it wasn't talked about much, but the rubbish going in. Is there anything you can think about to maybe try and reduce that?
As I said, maybe get the kids, I can take the kids inside to have their afternoon tea and then bring them outside to play in the common area, or even just the council pickup. A lot of the rubbish was blown into to Manny's yard from the council pickup. But again, it's not like I meant for it to go into his yard. I was just getting it ready for it to be collected. So maybe, I don't know, by giving Manny a heads up via call or just letting him know, then he's or text, then he's not going to become so frustrated that I'm purposely letting rubbish go everywhere.
Yeah, and that's that's possibly. There seems like there's been a lot of assumptions about why or what's caused things. So okay. And what about from you? So all of this is talking about things that were upsetting Manny. Is there anything else from your perspective that you need to improve the situation?
I don't know, like maybe I just need to take the kids to the park more so I'm not intruding on Manny. But
Yeah,
yeah.
no, I'm sorry to interrupt.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're right. You go.
I was more talking about anything that you might need from Manny or that you want to raise with Manny to improve the situation from your point of view.
Yeah. I don't know. I think by exchanging a phone number or something like that will help with the communication because I'm not always available.
Yeah, so you can
Trying to
choose
juggle
when you come
everything.
and talk rather than.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, so then it's not so much of like he doesn't feel like I'm brushing him off all the time. I feel like that will improve it. But, you know, ultimately, like I don't want to have to file a protection order. I don't need that at added stress either.
Yeah.
So, you know, ideally, if we can work to an agreement, I would be comfortable with withdrawing that.
Okay, and so it sounds like. So do you feel like is there a threat from Manny? You said in the pre-mediation you weren't frightened of him, but just double checking.
No, I'm not frightened of him. You know, I admit that I shouldn't have, you know, told him to go back to Malaysia. That's never okay to make racist remarks. But, you know, him verbally abusing me in front of my kids is also not okay. So it was just the situation got very heated. But yeah, I just hope that, yeah, we can get over it. And yeah, I think by us, you know, speaking respectfully towards each other and doing that in front of the kids will help.
Yeah. Okay. No,
so they're not, they're not scared of him anymore.
Yeah, that sounds like you definitely don't want kids scared of their next door neighbour.
No.
Okay, well, that's great. It sounds like you've come up with a lot of ideas. So then, as I said, the next part of the mediation is negotiation, where you'll be able to kind of flesh those out. And so what I'll do now is I'll pop you back into the waiting room. So you'll have about 8 or 9 minutes to again freshen up. I won't talk about anything we've discussed with Manny, but you're able to bring those up when we get back. Okay?
Yep. Cool. Thank you.
No problems. Hi, Manny. Welcome back. So, as I said, this is a private and confidential chance for us just to check in and see how things are going. How is the mediation going for you?
Yeah, okay. I didn't realise that I made her kids scared. I felt terrible about that. That's not something I wanted, you know. I mean, I grew up with kids playing in the street at home. That was just what we did, you know. Everyone would come out and play in the street. So, you know, I sort of thought about that and thought, well, yeah, I probably experienced that as a kid, feeling like some grumpy person was coming out and yelling at us, and I wouldn't have wanted that. That's not what I would have wanted to make them feel. So maybe I could understand why she thought I was being hostile when I was just trying to get my point of view across. So, yeah, I'm, you know, that's not good. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, yeah. That's good that you're able to see, you know, both sides of things and empathise with the children. Do you have any thoughts about how? So, you know, we've talked about a few things like, you know, knocking and letting you know if they need to come and retrieve something. Is that still sits well with you?
Yeah, I'll be fine with that. You know, as I said, kids are kids. They'll knock things over or things will come in there. The rubbish thing I'd really like to get fixed as well. Because I like my place nice and neat.
Yeah.
So, you know, I don't like rubbish lying around up near fences and things like that, you know. You get mice and things like that, and I don't want that in my house. So, you know, I think we've talked about the fence, but I think I'd like to still speak about making sure rubbish isn't left lying around like that because, you know, the wind blows, it comes in. So
Yeah.
how the rubbish is stored would be something that I think is important to still cover off.
Okay. Yeah. So are we talking about the rubbish from the bins or there's...
Well, rubbish disposal in general. So, like now, I don't know if the stuff that was put up against the fence last time was just because she had a council pickup coming.
Yeah.
But
that's what she said.
when you put rubbish in bins and stuff, and if you don't have the lids on properly, it ends up everywhere, and it's and if it's up near the fence and the lids aren't properly, we're just going to attract mice.
Yeah.
Really,
Okay.
yeah.
So that might be something. And as I said, this is a confidential discussion, but you're able to bring anything back. So if you wanted to raise, maybe just reminding her to be more careful about the keeping silent.
How do you think she'll react if I do that?
I don't know. You know her better than me. What do you think you might say?
Well, I think we've answered a lot of issues, but there's one still more for me as to how rubbish is disposed of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think one of the things that she'd mentioned was that the children often have their snacks out the front when they're...
Yeah.
So, maybe they're being children and putting them down. And
yeah, maybe that's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So is there anything you can think of to suggest there, perhaps?
Well, maybe just ask about it, find out what's causing that and what can be done.
Yeah. Okay. The other thing you both talked about was that sending a joint message to the body corporate about the fence. Is that your understanding as well, that the body corporate's responsible for those external fences and in between?
I don't know. I've never had to ask, but Tibby's been there longer, so maybe she does know that because the fence had a problem beforehand. So maybe she's written before. I just asked her if she could write it because I'm not very good at writing letters.
Yeah, no, that's excellent. You talked a lot about really wanting to feel safe and be able to have pride in your house, so your front yard looks beautiful and things. What do you think is going to happen if these solutions don't happen and things continue the way they are?
Well, just end up with intervention orders or something, and I don't want that. I'll move.
Yeah.
I don't want to move. Right?
No.
On my house, I'll have to go and buy another one. I have to pay stamp duty, all of that again, and I've saved hard for it. I like my house.
Okay, so it's pretty important to get this relationship working better. So one of the things that Tibby said before was around the timing of when you have these conversations.
Yeah.
Have you thought about that at all, and how that might be managed?
Well, yeah, I could probably wait and, I probably need to ask her what time works for her because I thought going to her while she was outside was easier. So that's why I do it that way. But she'd rather the kids be inside, and when she comes back out or when the kids are playing, that I can go over and sit there and talk to her, or I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Because it sounds like when the children are there at her side, sometimes the conversations have escalated. And the very first thing you said to me was, I really don't want the children to be frightened of me.
Yeah. Maybe I can say hi to the kids as I go past or something. And
Oh, is that not something that you've done? You've tended...
No, just going, well, because they're kids, right? They can't fix the problems we've got. I've just spoken to Tibby.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But so are you saying to talk to the children about the things or just to say...
No, just be polite and say hi as I go past so they're not scared.
Yeah, generally is quite a good thing.
Yep.
Yeah, excellent. All right, so it sounds like you've covered off on most of the things. So your relationship, you're talking about speaking, kind of organising a time in a way to speak rather than necessarily when she's there with the children or when or when the children are playing and occupied, just to have a conversation. You definitely do want to continue to raise the issue of the rubbish and get a better solution for that, because it really wasn't discussed very much. And you want your private space respected, and you to be asked permission before walking around inside. Yeah. Okay. No, that's excellent. Is there anything else that you wanted to, Joe, you feeling?
No, I think everything else that I was worried about is not a problem now.
Okay. That's good. Okay, we'll go back. The next step is negotiation, where some of these ideas that you both seem to be comfortable with, you can really look at them and go into a little bit more detail towards hopefully putting together an agreement that you're both willing to commit to.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll bring Tibby back into the room. Just wait. Hi, Tibby. Oh, welcome back. Okay, well, thank you for that. Now, before we proceed, is there anything either of you wanted to discuss? Right.
Well, I don't think we discussed the rubbish disposal bit yet, so I would like to speak a bit more about that. Yeah.
No problems at all. And Tibby, was there anything that you wanted to bring back? Or?
I was just going to say, suggest that, we spoke a bit about writing up an email to body corporate. I'm happy to do that. I was just thinking, worst case scenario, if they aren't able to fix it, I'm comfortable to go 50-50 with the fence.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So perhaps that rubbish issue, because it wasn't really discussed fully.
First, I'd like to say I'm sorry if I've upset your kids, because I didn't mean to make them feel like that. I grew up playing in the streets, and I know I had grumpy people yelling at me, and I didn't like it. So I'm sorry if I made your kids feel like that. Maybe when I go past to talk to you, I'd say hi to the kids, and or when they're out there, smile and wave at them so they don't feel so scared, because I don't want that. That's not right. And also, I sort of thought that coming and talking to you when you were getting out of the car was easier, because I didn't want to come and knock on your door and have you, because when I speak to you, you seem to want to back away. So, and I just assume it's because you didn't want to talk about things. But so I'd like to sort of figure out when's the best time to speak about them as well. Yeah. But the rubbish.
Well, the rubbish is it won't go anywhere. So let's just we can talk about these things. So, Tibby, you've heard Manny saying that he thought it was a good time to catch you, I suppose, when you were getting the kids out of the car, but acknowledging that maybe that hasn't been the best time. What are your thoughts about timing to speak with each other?
Yeah, sure. As I said, I'm comfortable with exchanging phone numbers or emails, so that, sometimes I am just doing everything else, juggling the kids, that I thought that might be just an easy way for us to communicate. For example, with the rubbish, just flick you a text to give you a heads up that there's a council pickup on.
What do you think about that, Manny?
Yeah, I'm not much for texting and writing. I sort of think it's impersonal. I was thinking more that when you're at the front sitting there watching the kids, I could just say hi to the kids, walk over and sit down with you, and
sure.
Yeah,
sounds good. We can have a cuppa.
Yeah. That's
I'm comfortable with that too.
Okay, well,
because I'm not very good at writing.
okay.
Yeah.
So it sounds like, would you be uncomfortable exchanging phone numbers, or you'd really rather just...
No, I'm just not a very good writer.
Right. Okay.
Mm.
So, so your preference would be that you come out, maybe bring a cup of tea with you, or something, and sit down with Tibby and just to have a bit of a chat. And Tibby, does that sound like something that you'd be comfortable with?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. And the other thing I heard you saying, Manny, was just greeting the children so they don't see it as a, oh, we better go and stand and protect mum or something.
Yeah.
So to make that a safe thing for the children to be seeing.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. So what if you're feeling a bit hot under the collar and maybe not, is that still going to be the best way to deal with things?
Well, maybe I could text then.
Yeah?
Yeah, maybe if I'm in a rush and
Yeah.
I think Tibby's in a rush, maybe I ask, you got time to speak? And if she hasn't, well, then I'll just send a text then.
Yeah, send a text and okay. So if you think it's like you want to talk about without the kids there, or whatever, you send a text. And Tibby, does that work for you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, and that would mean you'd need to exchange phone numbers and Manny, you said that you don't write that much in English, so probably Tibby should expect it to be a very short text and and not to make any meaning about that.
That's true. But it would take a long time for me to do it anyway. Yeah.
Or maybe you can don't want to make a suggestion, but maybe you can use emojis.
Get my wife. I could even get my wife to text it.
Okay. Oh, so she's a bit more fluent in written English, is she?
Yeah.
Okay. But what I'm hearing is generally just go have a little chat, mention if there's something that's a concern for either of you, and say hello to the children as you do. But if there's another reason, then maybe send a text message to arrange a time to speak without the children there.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's get to that rubbish. So what did you want to say to Tibby about that, Manny?
Well, I think sometimes the rubbish is coming in the backyard because the lid's not on the bin properly, or the kids are leaving stuff out there when they're eating. And I'm more worried about rats and mice and stuff getting in when it's up near the fence line. So I was wondering whether if the bin could be moved, or if it's the kids leaving stuff out, that you ask them to bring it inside so it can be put away properly, because I really don't like rats or mice, and that's what I'm worried about.
Yeah, I'm more than happy to move the bin towards the other side of the house if that's going to make you feel more comfortable.
Okay.
Yeah, as I said.
Is there a space that you could do that, Tibby?
Yeah.
Okay. And do you think that will make a difference in the rubbish blowing in for Manny?
Yeah. Maybe I need to get a bigger bin. I'm not sure.
Okay. Yeah. So it overflows sometimes, does it?
Yeah. Just trying to jam as much in as I can, and sometimes I get the kids to stand on it to smush it down.
Okay. Right. Okay. So moving the bins? Do you think that will resolve the issue? You mentioned earlier, Tibby, about the children having their snacks out the front. Is there a bin will that change where they can put the rubbish in the bin, or?
No, that's fine. So I'm happy to move the bin, and I'll get the kids to eat inside before we go and play out the front, just to stop if they are leaving rubbish out the front, to stop that as best I can. Yeah.
Oh,
So, Manny, do you think those two strategies will work in?
Yeah, I think it will. Yeah.
Yeah. And Tibby, is that something you can do? Like, is it going to be inconvenient for you moving the bins, or not too bad?
No, I'm literally just moving over to the other side of the yard, so it's all good.
Okay. Well, that sounds like that will work in that case. And the other point you had on your agenda was the understanding of the common areas and the private spaces, and you agreed that if there is a need to come into Manny's private space, that you just come to the door and knock. And that would apply for the children as well, if they were there. Although, Tibby, you said usually the children you're out there keeping an eye on them.
Yeah. But yeah, I would usually I'm more than happy for them to come and knock if Manny's comfortable with that. And if not, of course, I'll just be there with them anyway. So yeah, it doesn't really matter. But yeah, if that's what you'd feel more comfortable with, instead of us just jumping the fence, that's totally fine.
Yeah, that'd be good. And I'll promise I won't come and speak to you when you're getting kids out of the car.
So, sorry, I couldn't quite hear you there, Manny.
Oh, I said I promised I wouldn't come and speak to her when she's trying to get her kids out of the car.
Yeah, would that be a good thing, Tibby?
Yeah, that's fine. Like, I'm just trying to juggle a million and one things at once. But yeah, so maybe just choosing a time where I'm not carrying school bags and everything like that would be great.
Yeah, so, okay. Well, look, it might be, and I am just mindful of time, so it could be a good point to now move on to documenting anything that you would like written up in your agreement. So I'll just bring the document up again for you. Yeah, can you see that? So the first thing you talked about was your relationship and your safety, and a lot of that was really around how you speak with each other. And what you said is that you choose generally just come and have a respectful conversation. Manny, you'll come over when Tibby's out playing with the children playing. You said sitting down. There's a chair out there somewhere. Is there?
Oh, just the front steps.
On the front steps. Yeah. And but if you're feeling a little bit more frustrated, then you'll send a text message and arrange a time to speak when the children aren't around.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how would you like that written? Do you want to start with exchanging phone numbers?
Yep.
Yeah. How would you? So I'll write these down for you as a reminder. This isn't like a legal contract or anything like that. It's just to remind you about what you've agreed to do with each other.
Yeah.
Maybe Manny and Tibby are able to talk respectfully while the children are playing in common areas, and if I don't know, if feeling frustrated or not appropriate to speak about in front of the kids, communicate via text message as an alternative, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, I've just typed it down, but now we'll have a look and see if the wording's right. I've said is Manny and Tibby are able to talk respectfully while the children are playing in the common areas. You talked about cups of teas and things like that, but does that need to be in your agreement, or you'll sort that
No,
out?
I don't think
Huh?
so.
Yeah, I don't think that's needed either.
Are you comfortable with that, Manny?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And the second point was, if feeling frustrated or something unable to talk about in front of the kids, to communicate via text message.
Yeah.
Do you need me to make a note here that you'll exchange phone numbers, or you can do that?
Yeah, Tibby and Manny
Yeah.
to exchange phone numbers after mediation is finished or something.
Yeah, are you comfortable with that, Manny? So Tibby and Manny to exchange phone numbers after the mediation is finished?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So basically it sounds like the challenges in your relationship has been around the way you communicate and yelling. Do you need anything about not yelling, or this will just take the wind out of things, so there's no need to get angry?
No, I don't think we need that. I think it's a misunderstanding, and I didn't realise that I was making her and the kids feel like that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't think it needs it. Like, stop yelling, we relax.
Yeah, and Tibby, you it sounds like you've accepted that Manny's frustration wasn't a judgment on your parenting or anything like that. It's concerns about his pride in his house and wanting things to be nice.
Yeah, I agree with Manny. I feel like we've already covered it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it needs to be another point.
So understanding around the common areas and private spaces. So what you talked about there is knocking, either Tibby or the children knocking on the door if they need to retrieve
to retrieve anything from my yard. Yeah.
Yeah. How would you like that worded?
Well, that sounds good.
So
come and knock on the door if they need to retrieve anything from my yard.
Okay. Tibby or Tibby or the children to come and knock on the door if they need to retrieve anything from Manny's yard. And it doesn't sound like it goes the other way in this case. So, Manny, you don't play with balls that go into Tibby's yard or anything like that?
No.
No. Okay. Tibby, Manny, you mentioned about greeting the children and things. I don't know that you'd want that written or need that written down, but
no, I think
just
done.
made a note. But yeah, just it sounds like maybe just changing attitude and approach there. And the same, you talked about that you perfectly understand that the children are able to play in the common area, and it's something you did yourself as a child. But yeah, just respecting your private areas. And the other aspect of that was with the rubbish. Did you want a point written around that?
Yeah, I'd like the bin on the other side. That would be good. Away from my side of the fence. Yep.
Yeah. So Tibby, how do you're the one moving the bins?
Yeah, sure.
Good.
Tibby to move the bin over the other side of the yard to prevent rubbish from going on to Manny's yard.
Yeah. Manny, so Tibby to move the bin over to the other side of the yard to prevent rubbish from going into Manny's yard. And do you need a point about the children having their snacks first, or that before going out to play?
No, that's all right. Yeah. Actually, number one, can I just change that? Because we should just talk respectfully all the time. So I can't, like, the way it's written, it's sort of like we only should talk respectfully in front of the children. So maybe
Okay, yeah.
we should talk respectfully and especially while the children are playing.
Yeah. Okay.
Because,
So Manny and
yeah.
Tibby are able to talk respectfully, or
Look, we should with each other all the time.
to each other at all times. Was that?
Mm,
Yeah.
mm, mm,
Tibby, is that?
Yeah, that's fine.
mm.
I agree.
And so I think, yes, that's the point about when the children are playing in the common areas, though. I think that was about if you need to go and actually speak about something.
Oh, I'm okay with that being there. I just think that it sort of read that we were only being respectful when the kids are around.
Yeah.
I wanted it to be, we're always
Oh,
respectful to each other now, especially when the kids are around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe we can just take out the are able and you know, Manny and Tibby to agree to or something.
Yeah, no, that's okay.
Yeah. But this point was around the fact that you wanted to, rather than talking to Tibby while Tibby's getting out of the car, if you had concern to do that. So that point two, how would you think that should be better written? So so it was really around you, Manny, raising concerns.
Well, maybe Manny needs to be more respectful while the children are around.
Okay. How would you? What are you thinking? Should that be written?
Well, if I've scared them, I don't want to scare them anymore. So maybe I just try to be more friendly, but that's hard, isn't it? Because like, who decides what's friendly?
Yeah. So you both talked about concerns about the children being a little bit frightened about Manny. And yeah, so.
No, that's all right. Go back and leave it like it was. That's all right then. That's okay. I'm okay. That's fine.
Or maybe you could put especially.
Yeah, maybe especially. Yeah.
Is that
that's all good.
Yeah. So Manny agree to talk respectfully to each other at all times, especially while the children are playing in common areas.
Yep.
Is that capturing what you're wanting to say?
Yep.
And if either of you have concerns with each other, that you'll be able to speak. Does this? I mean, and you don't need it written down for you to agree to do something, but yeah, I think the important thing was about finding an appropriate time to speak. Yep. So if feeling frustrated or something unable to talk about in front of the kids, to communicate via text message. And this one, do to speak respectfully when the children are there. Okay. Yep. And then we've got Tibby and Manny to exchange phone numbers after the mediation is finished. Tibby or the children to come and knock on the door if they need to retrieve anything from Manny's yard. Tibby to move the bin over to the other side of the yard to prevent rubbish from going into Manny's yard. And you said the thing of the children, whether they're having their snacks out or whatever, that's something Tibby will manage. Now mindful of that. And so the remaining thing was your boundary fence. And I think what you'd proposed, Tibby, was that you'd write a letter from the two of you to the body corporate about the fence being in poor condition and needing repairs.
Yeah, I'm happy to sign it.
Yeah, and many, okay.
Yeah,
so
you can write it. I'm not very good at writing, but I'm happy to sign it.
Yeah. I'm happy for your wife to read over it before you sign it, though, if it's
you can read it to me.
hard. Okay. No, I was just mindful of you not speaking English fluently. That was all.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Okay. So how would you like that written?
I was just thinking to be write up. No, Tibby write an email on behalf of Manny and Tibby of the damage caused to the fence to body corporate with photos of the fence as evidence.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm going way too quick, am I?
To the fence with photos as evidence. Yeah. Okay. So you, Tibby write an email on behalf of Manny and Tibby about the damage to the fence with photos as evidence. So with an email, you wouldn't need that to be signed. So are you?
Yeah, that's okay.
Or are you attaching a letter to the email?
No, she can put my name on it with that.
Yeah.
That'll be fine. Yep.
Saying it. So, Manny, you're happy, an email of, you're happy for Tibby to write, this is an email from me and Manny.
Yep.
Maybe you can have a photo with the two of you in this.
Copy me in case they've got any questions.
So how
I'll
is...
give you my email address.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so yeah, you were suggesting CCing, so having both email from both.
Yeah.
Yeah. With CC'd, so copied to the email.
Yeah.
With going in to get the photos, is that something you'll just organise yourselves?
Yeah, Tibby can just knock on my door when she wants to take them on my side.
Yeah. So Tibby, you're comfortable with that? You'll just knock on Manny's door and go and get the photos?
Yep.
Yep. Okay. All right. Well, you've got a lot of things that you've agreed, and well done. So just very quickly, you've agreed that you're going to speak respectfully with each other at all times, being particularly mindful when the children are playing outside in the common areas. And I haven't written it down, but Manny, you've said that you'll just greet the children and help them to not feel like you're frightening. And if you are feeling, if either of you are feeling frustrated or unable to talk about something in front of the kids, to communicate via text message, potentially to arrange a time to speak. Yeah. Tibby and Manny to exchange phone numbers after the mediation's finished so that you can do text messages. Tibby and the children to come and knock on the door if there's a need to retrieve anything from Manny's yard. And Tibby will move the bin over to the other side of the yard to prevent the rubbish going into Manny's yard. And Tibby to write an email on behalf of Manny and Tibby about the damage to the fence with photos as evidence, with Manny CC'd in the email. So now one thing I did say, the Body Corp had asked that if there wasn't a written agreement that they get a copy. Are you comfortable with all of this being provided to the Body Corporate, or is there anything you'd like to change?
No, I'm okay.
Tibby?
I'm comfortable with it, and hopefully with them, with Body Corporate receiving this, they will see that it's an issue and hopefully want to address it to assist that issue.
Yeah, absolutely. They'll know to expect an email. Okay. All right. Well, thank you. We'll send a copy of this to each of you and just let me know if there's anything that concerns you. We can't put any new things in other than you've agreed, but in case I've done a typo or something that we didn't catch, please let me know before I send it off to the Body Corporate. So that's all for our mediation today. Thank you very much. You've worked really hard to make what seems to me to be quite a change in the way you've been interacting. So well done. Generally, if you do feel like there's the need for further mediation down the track, just get in touch. But I'm very hopeful that you're going to take things on a new path now. As I said, I'll keep anything confidential. Again, generally not talking about the details other than, advisors or personal connections. So Manny and Tibby, your partners and so on, is fine. Do you have any questions before we close off?
No.
No? Okay, well, thank you once again, and we'll end the mediation now. You can go and swap those phone numbers.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, guys.
Where did that voice come from with me? And when Jess starts to smile, because she's got such a big smile, I lost it then. Can't stop giggling. Hard to keep in character sometimes.
Okay. Okay, thank you for watching.